I cannot wait. I cannot wait until game 3. These 2 days, it's killing me. It's killing me inside. I need to see Sixers basketball. This entire fan base is ready for this game. It sounds silly, but I really do believe that the atmosphere at the Wells Fargo Center has a chance to be the difference maker in game 3. You saw it in game 2. Early, the Raptors couldn't get anything going. They were missing shots. The Sixers' defense was awesome, and their intensity was unbelievable. And the fans were just here. The fans were just literally at the bottom, and they were quiet, and understandably so, because they were shocked at what they were seeing, because the Sixers came out on fire, defensively especially. But if we go off in the beginning of this game, if we get going, if we attack, if we go downhill, if we make plays, if we bring the same level of grit that we saw in the beginning of game 2, there's a chance that the Wells Fargo Center can just be dynamite and electric and literally be something that can be the reason why the Sixers actually win the game. This fan base is buzzing for Sixers basketball. This fan base is going nuts thinking about game 3. 1-1 compared to 0-2 is obnoxiously different. Now, I'm not saying that if the series was 0-2, the Wells Fargo Center, it wouldn't be loud or wouldn't be crazy. It definitely would be. But the fact that it's 1-1, the fact that game 3 is so crucial, it brings it to an even more elite level that you honestly might have not even thought was possible. If we start out the right way. If the players give us something to cheer for early. Because these fans are ready. It's all packaged up inside of them. Even Mike Scott was talking to them. These fans are nuts. These fans are crazy. They know. The locker room knows. Hell, I even know Toronto knows that this is going to be a very, very hostile environment. As for the game itself and what to expect, to be honest with you, to just be 100% honest, I don't even know. Because I've seen this team play game 1, I've seen this team play game 2. Two totally different basketball teams, it looked like. And there's a track record of that. It's very inconsistent. You really just don't know how they're going to go out there and perform. You also don't know what Nick Nurse is going to bring adjustment-wise. And this is why this game is crucial for Brett Brown. I've seen it now 2 series in a row, falling out in game 1 and responding beautifully in game 2. But now, as we sit back and wait for their adjustments, we need to have a counter to that. And I will say this, Brett Brown has been tremendous with game-to-game situations when it comes to adjustments. I don't know how smooth he is in-game. If we see something in the first quarter and the second quarter that is exposing something we are doing, whether it's a matchup they like or running specific plays, and if we can't fix that at halftime, that can be a problem. Sometimes I feel like Brett Brown elects to just continue to bang things out a certain way until we get out of that. But sometimes we need to adjust. But we will see. That's a big thing on Brett Brown's plate. Counter-punching Nick Nurse's adjustment for Game 3. So I don't really know what to expect. But I want to see someone step up. Is it going to be Jimmy Butler every night? No, it's probably not. He was awesome last game, though, with the 30 points. We haven't seen a Joel Embiid-like game yet. We haven't seen a 35 and 15. There's only so long you can hold him to what he's been doing. Now, granted, he was deathly sick, so it seemed, last game. And the first game, he got shut down by Marc Gasol. Will Joel Embiid be the player who steps up? Will it be J.J. Redick scoring 30 points? Will it be Tobias Harris's night? Will it be Ben Simmons, who's a little bit more offensive-minded? Now, that's probably my last guess, only because of if we're going to ask so much of him defensively. I don't know where his head is at on the offensive side of the game. Also, if Jimmy Butler continues to be primary ball handler, that also throws a factor in Ben Simmons' offensive role. Speaking of Mike Scott, though, I did a couple minutes ago. Mike Scott did practice and apparently looked pretty solid on 3-on-3s, and he was out there, and the quote they say, Brett Brown and him, is they're just unsure. They're just unsure if he's going to be able to go for game 3, but just the fact that he's practicing and on his foot and not in the boot is so big because he's a difference maker. I don't know how long we can rely on James Ennis scoring 13 points, all right? I don't know how long that's possible. And Mike Scott would add so much value to this team. Isn't that crazy to say? Isn't that so ridiculous? Listen, nice player, but he would add so much value to this bench, and there's just no denying that. Unsure for Game 3 at this moment, but even if he is for 4 or 5, if he's ready to go then, it's so big. So just to see him out there is nice to hear. As for Greg Monroe, tweaked the ankle a little bit in Game 2. He is hoping to go. So it's not unsure, he's hoping to go, and he was obviously someone who was able to go out there and perform at a pretty decent clip there when Joel Embiid was sick and not getting as much time as, say, the other starters and getting some rest. Greg Monroe was a difference maker, and so was James Ennis, but can we rely on that to happen all the time? I've stated this in my last video, though. Each game is different. Each game is not going to be the same. Because this happened last game, it doesn't mean that's going to happen the next game. So we will see. There will be different players stepping up each game. And who is it going to be in Game 3? Game 3 is so big for the Sixers. And here's why. If we win, 2-1 the series will be, and we have another home game to potentially make it 3-1. I take one game at a time. But I'm just saying, Game 3 is so monstrous because if we win, we're up 2-1 with another home game. The fact that is a real possibility right now for Sixers fans is what is fueling the fire of passion. Because after Game 1, everyone was down in the dumps, the Raptors are going to sweep us, and I hated hearing that, but that's how the majority of the fan base felt because the Raptors were just way better than us. I had a little bit more optimism. But if we were up 2-1, it's a potential difference maker in the series. The Raptors aren't going to come out and just let us take it from them. They're going to put up a fight. They're upset about what happened last game. They're pissed off about it. They weren't happy with the shooting. They weren't making down their shots. Danny Green had a look there at the end. They thought that they should have won the game with their late game pushes. Although we responded, and that's what good teams do. But they're not just going to roll over and die. This series is going to be an ultimate battle. And it starts with Game 3 being next. I want to see this team take it, though. I talk about growth. I talk about this team growing. I talk about our young stars taking the next level and watching their journey. I am sitting here saying that Game 3 is an opportunity for a huge moment of growth. A series is tied 1-1, you're going back home to Philadelphia. Against a team that everyone thinks is way better than you. Take it. Take the opportunity. Seize the moment. Be the reason why. Be the reason why your team wins. Make the play. Bring the level of intensity on the defensive side of the floor. Do something to make this crowd go nuts. And I think that there's a possibility that can happen. But I'll tell you what, I am, I am so excited. I've been around and passionate about Philly sports for quite some time here, and the level of hype around Game 3, around this city, is something special. I don't know if it matches the same as, say, the NFC Championship game at home against the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know if it's to that level. But these fans, they're ready. They're ready. And Philadelphia is going to be unbelievable in the Wells Fargo Center. You're going to have your stars, maybe Carson, Alshon Jeffrey. I wonder who's ringing the bell. There's going to be stars in the building. It's going to be a must-be spot on Thursday night. I think the Sixers can do it. But what do I expect? The quote is, I don't know, honestly, because I've seen so many different things with this Sixers squad. But my main focus is how is Brett Brown going to adjust to the Raptors' adjustment, and will it be mid-game? Because this is Brett Brown coaching for his job, and that's a huge focus, and my eyes are set on that since the beginning of the playoff run. So let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for watching. Go Sixers.